Let's talk Formula One.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to drive a Formula One car going 200 miles per hour? Well, the new F1 movie lets you experience that adrenaline from the comfort of your cinema seat while you're stuffing your face with a bucket full of popcorn. We've had Barbie and now we have F1. This is the movie of the summer. If you haven't seen it yet, I recommend you go watch it immediately on the biggest screen possible. Maybe not 4DX though. I think you'll experience enough in IMAX. So, what's special about F1? Well, it's a movie made for adrenaline junkies, and if you aren't one, you sure as heck are gonna be when you go out of that cinema room. This movie gives you such a high that when you exit that cinema room, you feel like you could go rearrange a mountain chain or something.
It's like I'm a feather to him.
I can't even begin to imagine how cool it must feel if you have a driver's license to drive home after seeing this movie, blasting the soundtrack. Now, before we get into the spoiler section, I'm gonna clear up some basic F1 concepts for the non-fans out there so you don't whisper amongst each other with your super F1 fan the whole movie and bother everyone. Pole position. This is the first position right at the start. So they're the first car that goes onto the track. And you get this by earning points. It comes from horse riding, where, as you may know, the first ones are up against a pole, and then when the race starts, the pole is lowered and then they can go. So yeah, that's pole position. DRS. Here I can't be bothered, just have a definition. Safety car is a car that goes onto the track to slow down the other drivers while debris and other things that might happen because of accidents on the track are cleared up. This can also give advantages to some of the drivers that were maybe in a position farther behind, because now they can catch up. There is also the possibility to win under a safety car, which, spoiler alert, will happen in this movie. Okay, when you see in this movie that they're training their necks, it looks very peculiar, the exercises they do. That is because they have to train their necks to withstand the G-force, the massive amount of G-force that they have to deal with in those racing cars. Why is it so important for them to qualify in the top 10? Well, the point system. In Formula One, there's 20 drivers vying for the first 10 best positions, and the point system works something like if you get first place, you'll get 25 points, and it ranges up to just 1 point for 10th place, but that still counts, you still get points, and eventually are the biggest, baddest F1 driver in the world. So why is it important in the movie for them to qualify for at least 9th or 10th place? Because then they would at least get some points and be in the qualifying. Of course, the more points your drivers get with each race, the more sponsors you have, the stakeholders are happy, and all that business crap. Alright, that's all I had to say for the non-spoiler section. Just go watch it in IMAX preferably, and come back here to watch the rest of the video after you have. This is your warning that I'm starting to give spoilers, so
I'm gonna give you to the count of 3.
get out of here. The car was built in collaboration with Mercedes, and it's actually a Formula 2 adapted car so that it is more safe to drive. Both actors got extensive driving training before starting the shooting of this movie. They were shooting on location at some of the biggest races. They were allowed to shoot on location, but of course not directly during the races. Most of what you see in the movie is then done with CGI, so Brad Pitt doesn't actually overtake Verstappen or Ferrari, any of the Ferrari cars, because that would be impossible. F1 would never allow for the races to be interrupted by a movie being shot. For this movie, they built special cameras in collaboration with Sony that could withstand being mounted on a car driving 200 miles per hour without shaking, and that could also pan out. In total, they had 25 cameras, and about 15 to 16 cameras were placed on each car. The recording devices or equipment of the cameras were hidden under some parts of the car that were empty.
The cameras that we've developed for this film are able to deliver that big screen experience, working hand in hand with their designers and engineers to find cavities under the radiators where we could place the camera recording equipment.
It's just exhilarating.
We're putting viewers right there on a track.
This is what makes the movie more immersive and really makes it feel like you are right there along with them inside the car, driving and competing.
Finally, people will get to feel what it's like to be a racing driver.
What enhances this experience even more is the music. Now, if you've never heard of Hans Zimmer, first of all, where have you been?
Where the hell have you been, Luca?
He's like the god of cinema and soundtracks for movies. He's worked on movies such as Interstellar, Inception, Gladiator, if you're a fan of the oldies, or Pirates of the Caribbean. If you know Hans Zimmer, you know that you're in for a treat no matter the movie he's working on.
So one of the things I'm going to try to do is make it sound in the cinema as if you're truly experiencing a true race. Because it's not just what you see, it's what you hear.
On top of that, the music really sticks with you. Everyone's gonna be listening to the soundtrack for the rest of the summer with the memorable pieces that he included in here.
It's dangerous, yet incredibly elegant.
Hans writes the kind of melodies that, for whatever reason, they stick in your head.
My For You page was filled with testimonials of people going out of the cinema and blasting this soundtrack in their cars for the rest of the week.
Got all these ideas for what it's going to be, and it's not going to be that. It's going to be something maybe a little bit more fabulous.
Also, this specific Hans Zimmer song of the soundtrack makes everything feel epic. I've just been playing it while doing house chores and normal things, and everything just feels more epic if you listen to this song while doing it. Now tell me if I'm wrong. Wasn't that way more epic with the soundtrack made by Hans Zimmer?
They're saying Sonny Hayes.
Now, the story might be the weakest part of the movie in my opinion, but it's visually and auditively so immersive that it doesn't really matter. It gives you that adrenaline rush without you having to stand up or do anything. Your heart gets racing, you're with them there on the track, and you want them to win and to strive for the best and become the best and prove everyone wrong. It's really a bit of an underdog story, I guess, as well. The movie is about Sonny Hayes, this fictitious Formula One driver who had an accident in his youth, so now he can't drive racing cars anymore. But he has a chance to come back and prove his worth when his long-lost teammate, played by Javier Bardem beautifully, comes up to him and offers him a spot in Formula One.
I'm offering you an open seat in Formula One. The only place you could say you are the absolute best in the world.
The acting was decent, with a few exceptions from Brad Pitt, who mostly just kind of acted as himself, in my opinion. It just felt in some scenes like he was just playing himself, all cool and suave, walking in on the set, because yeah, he's Brad Pitt, even if he's 60. And for all the girlies out there freaking out about Brad Pitt abs, there's only one very short clip of it, so don't get excited about that. But you'll see a lot of his socks and his playing cards. I will give them credit for trying to keep the story as realistic as possible and consulting an actual F1 driver, Lewis Hamilton, who was also a co-producer on this movie. Lewis Hamilton also steals the show with the sassiest side-eye of the year. The romance subplot of the story felt a bit forced for me. I mean, just because a woman around the same age as Brad Pitt is working in close quarters with him doesn't mean that she has to be the romantic interest. They could have just been friends. Also, if the roles were reversed and the 60-year-old actress was having some romance subplot with a 40-year-old guy, everyone would be like, oh, cougar alert, no, don't let her near the youth. You know what, with the way the dating landscape is looking right now, maybe that's not so bad to encourage relationships. However, I will say there's this hilarious clip I've noticed while rewatching the trailers 1,000 times to make this video, where you can visibly see Brad Pitt getting pushed against this elevator by her. And if you slow it down, you can tell that he was actually hurt by that and didn't expect her to be that strong. So, I mean, look at his face. I mean, just look at it. But yeah, the romance subplot felt a bit forced and unnecessary. Even though I did enjoy the woman's character, she played it quite well. It just felt like she was there because someone had to fawn over Brad Pitt and how cool he is. And other than that, for the story, all I have to say is that it's very basic. And if it didn't have the amazing visual techniques they used, like the filming technique in this movie and the music, the soundtrack. For me, it doesn't really matter that the story is pretty basic and very American in its culture references, but it matters more that it's such an enjoyable movie-going experience. It's like you went on a roller coaster ride holding two cobras simultaneously while screaming at the top of your lungs, and you experience all of this from sitting on your cushioned cinema chair, or, close enough to that. And I will definitely rewatch it when it comes out on Apple TV. Let me know in the comments what your favorite part of the movie was, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one.
Just keep watching. Close like this, move from the back, eyes on me. Hey, like that, just like this. Here for the night, only biting. Just keep watching.